when a young black woman stood before the judge and said, "I'm guilty." No one expected what came next. Not the prosecutor, not the courtroom spectators, not even the bailiff, but most of all, not her. This isn't just a story about guilt or innocence. It's about justice, humanity, and the power of seeing beyond confession. This is a case of Tasha Williams, and what happened after her guilty plea left the entire courtroom in stunned silence. Tasha Williams, a 27-year-old single mother from Detroit, had no prior record. She worked 2 jobs, as a cashier during the day and a janitor at night. Her life was about survival, not crime. But everything changed one icy November night when she was pulled over by police just blocks from her apartment. In the trunk of her old Toyota Corolla, a duffel bag with electronics, credit cards, and IDs, none of them hers. Tasha immediately confessed to stealing them. She didn't even ask for a lawyer. She was arrested and charged with felony theft, identity fraud, and possession of stolen property. Everyone assumed it was an open and shut case. Even Tasha. On January 5th, the courtroom was packed. The prosecutor was prepared. The defense attorney looked tense. And the judge, Judge Everett Coleman, known for his no-nonsense demeanor and record-breaking sentencing statistics, was ready to proceed. But what happened next, no one could predict it. When the judge asked Tasha how she pleaded, she said, "Clearly, guilty, Your Honor." There was a pause. Judge Coleman blinked. The prosecutor nodded. The bailiff prepared the cuffs. But then Judge Coleman asked something unexpected. "Miss Williams, can you tell the court why you're pleading guilty?" Tasha hesitated. Then she said something that changed everything. "Because I don't want my son to grow up thinking his mom was a liar." Judge Coleman stared at her. He motioned for the prosecutor and defense attorney to approach the bench. A brief, whispered conversation. Then he turned back. "Miss Williams, I want to hear your full story." And she told it. She had been cleaning offices late one night when she overheard 2 men talking about dumping stolen items to avoid a police raid. She didn't want to get involved, but when one of them threatened to harm her if she talked, she panicked. Later, when she saw them leave the bag near the dumpster, she grabbed it, not to steal it, but to hide it. She intended to report it anonymously the next day, but then she overslept and was pulled over before she ever got the chance. I didn't know what to say. I just panicked. I told them it was mine because I thought they wouldn't believe the truth. Judge Coleman didn't say anything for a long moment. Then he did something no one expected. He recessed the court for 72 hours. He ordered the police to re-examine security footage from the building where Tasha worked. He asked for forensic evidence from the bag. And he quietly reached out to a contact in the DA's office to run prints on the stolen items. The results came in 3 days later. Tasha's prints weren't on anything inside the bag, but the 2 men she mentioned, they were known associates with lengthy records. One of them had even been arrested the day before the trial for an unrelated burglary. When court resumed, Judge Coleman looked visibly different. Not angry, not cold, but thoughtful. He called Tasha to the stand. "Miss Williams, are you still pleading guilty?" She looked confused. "Yes, unless something changed." The judge looked at the prosecutor. "Do you still wish to pursue charges?" The prosecutor adjusted his tie, looked at his notes, then slowly shook his head. "Your Honor, based on the new evidence, the state moves to dismiss all charges." Gasps erupted in the courtroom. Tasha broke down in tears. Her public defender hugged her, and Judge Coleman said calmly, "Miss Williams, you are free to go, and let the record show you were willing to accept punishment to protect your son's understanding of truth. That is integrity." The video of that courtroom moment went viral. Over 15 million views in 3 days. Talk shows covered it. News anchors debated it. Some criticized the police. Some blamed the system. But most focused on the humanity. Tasha was offered a scholarship by a nonprofit criminal justice reform group. She later started her own cleaning business called Second Chance Solutions and hired other women who'd faced false charges or wrongful arrests. Judge Coleman, often labeled a hardliner, began advocating for pre-sentencing context hearings, where defendants could fully explain their story before plea decisions were accepted. It became known as the Tasha Protocol in local court circles. 2 years later, Tasha gave a TED Talk called "I Said I Was Guilty, but I Was Just Afraid," that has since been viewed over 4 million times. She closes the talk by saying, "Sometimes justice isn't blind. Sometimes it just needs to stop and look a little harder." And Judge Coleman? He was invited to speak at Harvard Law School, where he shared this. The courtroom isn't just for law, it's for the truth. And truth sometimes hides behind fear. In a world quick to judge, one judge chose to listen, and one woman who believed she had no voice changed lives just by telling the truth. Subscribe for more true, emotional, and powerful stories that reveal hidden strength and real justice.